seconds. Right now, you are warm. You might not even notice it, but you are. There's a number on a wall somewhere in your home. A machine kicks on and fixes the problem. You walk from a heated house to a heated car to a heated building, barely registering the cold. The coldest part of your day is probably the 10 seconds it takes to get from one to the other. Winter for you is an inconvenience. It's scraping ice off a windshield, a heavier jacket. It's complaining that it gets dark too early. But for almost all of human history, winter was not an inconvenience. Winter was the season that tried to kill you. It didn't try just once, or in just one way. It came at you from 4 different directions at the same time: the cold, hunger, animals, and long nights. Let's start with the most obvious threat: the cold itself. Here's something most people don't realize. A human being is a tropical animal. Our bodies evolved in the warm parts of Africa. Left to its own devices, a naked human loses heat fast. In cold conditions, you can slip into hypothermia. Hypothermia can set in within hours. Your fingers stop working, and your thinking slows down. Once your core temperature drops far enough, your body simply stops. You freeze to death. No claws, no thick fur, no natural insulation worth mentioning. We are one of the worst equipped animals. And yet, humans didn't just survive the cold. They walked into it on purpose. They spread north into Ice Age Europe, into Siberia, into places where winter temperatures dropped, far below anything the human body can handle unprotected. So how did they do it? The first answer is fire. We'll come back to what fire did for the long winter nights later. But fire has a problem. Fire only warms the side of you that's facing it. It doesn't travel with you. The moment you step away from the flames to gather wood, the cold comes straight back. Fire alone was never going to be enough. What ancient humans needed was a way to carry warmth with them. A way to carry warmth with them, wrapped around their bodies, everywhere they went. And that brings us to the technology. The single most important winter technology humans ever invented: clothing. But not the kind you're probably picturing. For a long time, the assumption was simple. It's cold, so you drape an animal hide over your shoulders. And for a while, that's exactly what humans did. But a hide thrown over your back leaves gaps everywhere. Wind gets in at the sides, your arms are exposed. It slips off when you move. A draped skin is better than nothing, but in a real winter, better than nothing still gets you killed. The breakthrough was learning to cut hides into pieces and sew them back together into shapes that actually fit. Fitted sleeves, closed sides, a garment that trapped a layer of warm air against your skin and held it there while you moved. This is the difference between a blanket and a coat. A blanket is better than nothing, but a coat keeps you warm. But here's the problem. To make this all work out for you, you need a needle. Not just any needle. A needle with an eye. A tiny hole to carry the thread. This is a genuinely difficult thing to make. Archaeologists have found bone needles like this dating back more than 40,000 years, and in some sites, even older. These are precise, deliberate tools. Whoever made them understood exactly what they were for. And the thread itself came from the animals too. Sinew, the tough fibers that connect muscle to bone. Sinew could be stripped, dried, and used to stitch hides together into something that held. Layer a garment like that, Fur turned inward against the skin, and suddenly a human being could stand in air. Cold enough to kill and stay alive inside their own pocket of warmth. Sewn clothing wasn't a comfort. It was the piece of technology that let our species leave the warm world it evolved in and walk into the cold parts. Without the needle and the thread, there is no human being in Ice Age Siberia. So you're warm now. Or at least warm enough. You can move, you can work, you can hunt. But the sun is going down. The temperature is dropping even further, and you have a second problem that clothing can't solve. You need somewhere to survive the night. The obvious answer is a cave. And caves were valuable. Genuinely valuable. A deep cave holds a steady temperature, blocks the wind, and keeps the snow off you. But here's the thing that nobody tells you about caves. There aren't many of them. A good, dry, defensible cave in the right spot was rare. And if you found one, you probably weren't alone. Other groups also wanted it too. You couldn't count on a cave. Most of the time, you had to build it yourself. And this is where it gets remarkable. In Ukraine, archaeologists found remains of shelters built around 15,000 years ago. They stacked and interlocked the bones of dozens of mammoths into round, dome-shaped huts. Hundreds of bones in a single dwelling, jawbones layered like roof tiles, massive tusks arched over the entrances. So they sealed them, layer by layer. They stretched animal hides across the inside of the walls and pinned them over the openings. Some groups even packed snow against their shelters. A thick layer of snow is actually a very good insulator. It traps air, and trapped air holds heat. Layer by layer, the wind ran out of ways to get inside. A shelter wasn't just walls anymore. It was a system. It kept people alive on nights that should have killed them. But a warm shelter creates a new problem, and it's a big one. To keep a fire going through a long winter, you need fuel. A lot of it. And gathering fuel means someone has to keep going outside, into the cold, over and over. All winter long, you are tied to that shelter. You can't just wander, and that means the food you need. The food you need has to either be nearby, or it has to already be stored. Which brings us to hunger. In winter, the world stops producing food. The plants die back, the berries are gone, roots are harder to find. Many of the animals have either migrated away, or gone into hiding, or grown lean and desperate themselves. For a hunter-gatherer, winter isn't just cold. It's a season when the land itself stops feeding you.